Hello everyone, this is Akeziel here, and today I'll be reacting to Fiveish Minute Lore Episode 13 in Kor Phaeron by Old Man Reacts. As always, I highly recommend that you check out Old Man Reacts' channel, and if you aren't already subscribed to him, to do so. Help him get to 10,000 subscribers. He makes great content, and speaking of which, Kor Phaeron, actually, is one of those characters in 40k that I know almost nothing about, so this is going to be very informative for me. But without further ado, let us begin.
The views expressed in Fiveish Minute Lore, the lore delivered in rants, are sanctioned by their scholar Progenium as excess rageous. Prolonged exposure can result in loss of IQ, high blood pressure, random outbursts, and blunt force trauma to the skull, resulting in unconsciousness. Please consult your local physician for more information.
First Captain of the Word-Bearers, the Black Cardinal, Kor Phaeron. Also known as Erebus Light. Also known as the Arch-Child Abuser. Also known as Bald Cunt Number 2.
The Arch-Child Abuser and Bald Cunt Number 2. I wonder who's Bald Cunt Number 1. Actually, no, probably Erebus, since he said this guy's Erebus Light.
Brilliant.
So far into this exploration into the wondrous world of 40k lore and characters, we've explored the elegant, the ignorant, the amazing, and the unworthy. We've talked about saints and sinners, psychos, and the downright silly, and while there are some who can claim very unique titles, none possess the one I'm about to bestow on Kor Phaeron. Kor Phaeron is the undisputed king of the sidemen, always trying to step into the limelight but getting slapped right back down into the back of the lineup. He is quite simply overshadowed by anyone he finds himself put in direct contrast with, and often painfully. Usually he doesn't realize it until it's made so plain to him and everyone around him his only choice is to keep quiet and accept the consequences.
He sounds a lot like the Avatar of Cain, which seems to almost only exist just so that other things can be shown for how powerful they are.
He is literally Villain B in the credit roll of the Horus Heresy, who exists only to forward the plot of someone better at doing the exact same thing he himself was trying to do. How about a few fine examples? He tries to aggressively push his religion on cultists. Lorgar comes along and does it better. He tries to step into a fatherly role. The Emperor actually did it better, and how by the blessed nutsack of the Emperor did Kor Phaeron manage to do worse than Big E is anyone's guess.
Yeah, I am honestly wondering what he did. Oh.
He tries to corrupt Lorgar. Nope. Erebus. Turn a Primarch to chaos? A fucking sword in the middle of a snake orgy actually did it better. How about Kor Phaeron want to be a space marine? Any space marine in the history of space marining is a better space marine than Kor Phaeron.
Oh wait, was he the one that he was too old so they couldn't actually become... Yeah, couldn't actually become a space marine, so they gave him tons of cybernetics and stuff instead.
Let's give this one a shot. How about be the most interesting transhuman character who got his heart ripped out? Nope. Lehman Russ. Kor Phaeron will be better.
Oh yeah, because Magnus punched out one of Lehman Russ's hearts. And no one seems to remember that a lot of the time.
Known and accepted as Word-Bearer side character 75B. Kor Phaeron is nothing.
To everyone here who matters, you're vapor. You're spam. A waste of perfectly good yearbook space.
Kor Phaeron began life, and his parents died out of shame for what they had brought into the world. He was raised in an orphanage, and he isn't even the best orphan character in 40k. Eventually, he was made priest of a massively religious cult which worshipped the Chaos Powers under different names. At some point, he was, and get this, kicked out of this highly theocratic and massively chaos religious-inspired cult for being too much of a dick in trying to forcefully convert people. That's really saying something right there. After being kicked out of the capital city of Verdesh for being an asshole and exiled, he grabbed a group of followers and went into the desert to be a priest out there around a bunch of nomads. That's when he met Lorgar. It didn't take a mathematician with 6 PhDs to realize the greatness that was in Lorgar, and instantly Kor Phaeron seized on the free ride he saw in the Primarch and had his followers massacre the camp that he was found to be in to keep the Primarch a secret. He did a really good job of that one, too. Kor Phaeron then told Lorgar that he was his daddy and promptly began to beat the shit out of him for no good goddamn reason. Lorgar could have at any point sent Kor Phaeron immediately to the afterlife, but he just didn't. When Lorgar started talking about the one god of mankind, Kor Phaeron tried everything that he could do to beat 4 gods into him. But sure enough, Lorgar couldn't care less, and eventually he developed a following larger than anything Kor Phaeron could have ever gotten himself. At that point, Kor Phaeron started to calm down, probably because everybody saw him trying to beat the brakes off a golden-skinned prophet of their god, and that didn't go over very well. And while Lorgar wasn't inclined to uppercut him once and send him to the Shadow Realm, there were more than enough people that would gladly do that and more to him for a Klondike bar. But you can't keep a shitbird down, and soon enough, Lorgar spilt tea or something, and since Lorgar was as big as he was, Kor Phaeron ordered a bunch of people to beat up the Primarch, who then promptly turned to Kor Phaeron and tried to kill him. Lorgar stepped in and killed his own defenders, which is a good show of how much logic that idiot was going to use in the future. After that...
Yeah, and people hate Lorgar for a reason.
Kor Phaeron pretty much surrendered control of his entire religious cult and named him the leader of the faith, and Lorgar named Kor Phaeron his archdeacon. So let's sum it up. Basically, Kor Phaeron lost his position at the church, lost his following in Lorgar, lost the ability to beat Lorgar, lost his argument for religion, and lost any semblance of genuine leadership. Kor Phaeron would now lead because others told him that he could. What a bitch! At that point, Kor Phaeron instantly fell off. He was barely the hype man's hype man at this point. He's barely even a filler character until the Emperor arrives, and at that point he's too old to be a space marine.
Also, the whole thing of he only leads because he was told that he could. Yeah, that sounds a lot like the kind of, well, those nobles who would end up leading an army, or in the case of 40k, those nobles who end up with a position as a general, like I believe Lord Commander Julka was one of them, who, not because of any qualifications or because anyone even respects or likes them, but they just ended up getting a position either because of status, or in the case of Kor Phaeron, sounds more like because someone just took pity on him.
But since Lorgar wanted to keep him around like a pet goldfish, he grabbed his daddy and threw some shit inside him in the hopes that Kor Phaeron would keep going, and yes, I meant for it to sound that way because it was damn near close to that way. Most of the Space Marines in and out of the Word Bearers had zero respect for Kor Phaeron because he was basically Lorgar's science project at that point. Ahriman of the Thousand Suns, after spending 5 years with the Word Bearers, said Kor Phaeron was everything he hated about Lorgar's Legion. Finally, after the Emperor got tired of the slow pace of the Work Bearers, he came and smacked down everything Lorgar had believed in. Kor Phaeron got together with Erebus and took a shot at convincing Lorgar to turn on the Emperor. Which, besides Kor Phaeron discovering Lorgar, the only thing that we know Kor Phaeron for doing is this. After that, he did damn near nothing besides trying to corrupt Gilliman to add a plot point to a book that didn't need any more plot points. He got one of his hearts ripped out for the trouble, and a few days later he lost his battle barge to the same said Primarch's Ultramarines. These days, Kor Phaeron is still trying to be the best at something, but he's still just a shit. He's a bootleg Iron Man with none of the wealth, charisma, or intelligence, forced to live in a suit of Terminator armor that sustains his pathetic existence like a mobile nursing home. Literally, a Kor Phaeron...
Mobile. You know, that explains why his Terminator armor, like, the man and looks like one of those people in an intensive care unit at a hospital with all those tubes coming out of him. Specifically, the one coming out like his nose and out the side of his face. Because the ones coming out the back of the head, yeah, that seems pretty normal for Terminator armor based on a lot of the pictures I've seen of Perturabo.
Phaeron exits the suit of Terminator armor, he will die. Remember how I said in the Erebus 5-minute lore that if one had a gun with 2 bullets and Lorgar, Erebus, and Kor Phaeron tied up helpless, shoot Erebus twice, beat Erebus's corpse with a gun, and then just leave the old bastard Kor Phaeron to die of natural causes.
Well, that was a fun watch, as always. And oh boy, I did not realize is that there was a character that was that much of a side man. and in 40K, aside from the Avatar of Cain. But if you enjoyed watching this with me, then I'd appreciate a like, comment, and if you subscribed. And until next time, Zakiziel signing off. Have a wonderful day.